No, it's the essentially the kind of energy that's in there. Right. This thing called the inflaton field, this stuff, essentially changes form, right, and ends up heating the universe up and making the particles out of which we and all the galaxies are made, and that's what we call the Big Bang. Now, we have no idea how long that was going on for. But by the way, we're pretty sure that theory is right because it predicts, amongst other things, amazingly, the distribution of galaxies in the sky. So we've mapped thousands, hundreds of thousands of galaxies, and they're not completely random. There's kind of a pattern to it, and the pattern is characteristic of something called quantum theory. And the mind-blowing idea about this thing is, so we can trace our observable universe with 2 trillion galaxies in it, which is currently just over 90 billion light years across, down to a time when that piece of space was less than a billionth of the size of the nucleus of an atom.
So
inflation.
So you've done that.
That was our bit. And when we do the calculations...
Have you done that by reversing sort of redshift? If it's going that fast now, we reverse it and come back, and it was to...
That's what you do to the Big Bang.
That's the Big Bang, but yours is...
But then before that, this period called inflation, you can make predictions of how the seeds of the galaxies were created before the Big Bang and then through the Big Bang. And it works. And it was a prediction that was made before... The pattern in the galaxies was seen, and also something called the cosmic microwave background, which that's actually one of the things when you talk to people on Twitter and say, I don't believe in this Big Bang thing, and I always say, well, you can see it, right? Because you can look out into the sky and you can see light that's travelled for so long that you're seeing the afterglow of the Big Bang, and you can actually see it on the sky. But there are patterns in there that are also predicted by this theory. But the point relevant to our discussion is, we don't know how long that was going on for. We know when it finished, which was the Big Bang, and we know how long there's been since then. Yeah. But we don't have any idea how long that was going on for at all.
Also, their explanation, God did it, is saying nothing really, because what they're saying is they're naming nature and physics God, and they are giving it a will, because that's the only difference between how we talk about nature and how some people talk about God. I'm in awe of the universe and all these magical things that are based in reality and explainable in physics, right? And all I do is not give it a will. That's my only difference. Yeah. So they give it a will, and they give it a goodness, and they give it a reward, and it's not like that.
But that's to give life meaning. That's exactly what I'm talking
to give
about.
Life meaning.
Because without will, without an idea that this is somehow leading towards a better thing, a goodness, as you call it, it is just random activity. However amazing it is still random activity.
But then you're required to think about your place and your responsibility. Exactly. And I think that's the key point.
And this is why
sub it out.
And this is why I think it's linked with the 2 big unexplainable things so far: the something from nothing and consciousness. This consciousness that we feel, this is what confuses us, because it's unexplainable. Yeah. All it is an upshot of other material things, what atoms do and how we feel. This feeling, just like hormones give us an emotion, just like, but it's too hard for us to fathom why. How is there a consciousness, and how is that going to go away? Why is that going to go away? And that's what people can't get over, whether they articulate that or not. I think they can't believe it's not just their worth, that some people think they're worth more than other animals, or I'm too good to end. They've been handed a theory and they liked it. That it's an attractive theory. Atheists are often bringers of bad news. There is no God, and your life's over in 70 years. Now, and I've even had people saying on Twitter, dude, I'm an atheist, but why are you ruining people's day by telling them there's no God? And I think, well, I'm not offended when people say they do believe in God.
But Brian is making an interesting point there, which is that it's sort of bad news. Another way of looking at it is a way of reassessing your actual place in the universe and finding whatever worth you need to find there without summing it out, as you say, to some higher power. For me, I don't care whether it's bad or good news, or whether it finds you another way of living your life. Well, I don't think it's the responsibility of truth to give you those things. No. The truth is the truth.
This way of thinking, I mean, you mentioned about atoms. I mean, again, Carl Sagan said that we're an atoms. We're atoms thinking about atoms. That's what we are. And that's I wouldn't claim
we are the things that make the universe think of itself or something. Aware of itself.
And the thing is that's a remarkable thing. So I wouldn't claim to have a complete understanding of that, it's a remarkable thing. We don't know how consciousness emerged yet.
No.
We may well do. What we do know, though, is that life, well, but almost certainly began on Earth as an outgrowth of geology.
Yeah.
So you have a dead planet, which is geologically active, and at some point, geochemistry becomes biochemistry.
Yeah.
And then given 4 billion years after that, you get things like us. That, to me, is a remarkable story. And what it tells us is, I think it's better than religion, because what it really does is say we are so lucky to be here, and we are responsible for our actions now and our fate in the future. This civilization is responsible for itself.
There is nothing as beautiful.
That's what we don't understand.
Of course.
And we don't. If we could practice that.
I agree with that, and I agree with what you. But one thing I would say is, when scientists like you, or sometimes someone like Richard Dawkins, says, but what about, once we can leave this behind, the God thing, we can talk about the wonder of the universe. I agree that the universe is wonderful, but I also think, well, you shouldn't feel the need to say that. You don't actually, it's not your responsibility to provide something nice and wonderful to replace religion. If it was just terrible and awful, if you wanted to say, so it means we're completely random and our life is meaningless, if that's the truth, it's the truth. And
but
for me, the truth is always what you should head for. Whether you want to colour it with wonder or whether you want to say it's cold and meaningless and dark, I don't care.
But you're
I'm interested
right.
only in the truth.
But then, in a way, those people on Twitter have got a point, because most nature is harsh and terrible and ends badly, right? And most people's lives aren't great. Right? And we've got great lives, so we don't need religion. So who are we to ruin it for those people who have got nothing, who think, at least I'll be rewarded in heaven?